Mom notices an old photo of her son-in-law, then runs for the phone. When you find the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, it can feel like you've known them your entire life. But British couple Heidi Parker and Ed Savitt had no idea that there was something they didn't know about one another. And then Parker's mother found a startling photo that shattered everything she thought she knew about her fiancé. So what happened? I will tell you in a moment. But before we continue, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button below. And don't forget to turn your notifications on so you don't miss our new videos. Heidi Parker knew that moving away from home would be a major life change. But she had no idea what she was in for when she decided to attend the University of Newcastle in 2011. And it wasn't a college professor or her major that ended up changing the course of her life forever. Living 130 miles away from her parents was certainly new, and she was loving her newfound freedom. But not everything was going as smoothly as she wanted it to. In fact, she was pretty close to ending up on the street. Living in a dorm wasn't a requirement at the university, so Parker planned on sharing an apartment with a couple of friends. But things didn't work out, so she decided it was time for a change. This put her on a path to meeting a very special someone who would soon rock her entire world. It was a new school year and a whole new direction in her life, so she decided to push her luck and live alone. But she didn't want to live somewhere that was too far away from college, so she went apartment hunting, not realizing someone was looking for her. She eventually found a studio apartment close to campus and was elated to start her new life. But then she was contacted by a random stranger. Parker had received a Facebook message from a guy named Ed Savitt, who said that he was a tenant in Parker's former apartment, and he needed help from her. Naturally, she wanted to lend a hand, but she had the feeling he wasn't being sincere. Savitt told her he didn't know how to use a communal dryer, but she didn't buy his story. To her, it kind of seemed like a cheesy pickup line, and yet there was something about him that felt very familiar to her. She just couldn't figure out what it was. Parker showed Savitt how to work the machine, and even stayed to make sure he was able to finish the process. But as she started to leave, he stopped her in her tracks. She was so scared, but then he said something that put her mind at ease. Savitt was able to man up and ask her out on a date to a nearby cafe. She figured it'd be okay. At the very least, she'd be getting some free coffee out of it. On their date, Parker discovered that Savitt was going to Newcastle University to study business and psychology. He also had a dream of opening up a shop someday. It seemed like he had brains and good looks too. So, pretty soon they started hitting it off. Despite her skepticism, the two connected, and soon enough they started dating and going to college costume parties together. Eventually, their college lives came to an end, and the couple had to figure out their next move. They decided to move to London, but didn't move in together right away. Parker landed a major PR job opportunity, while Savitt finally opened up a coffee shop on the south side of town. But then, things got really serious between them. From the moment Parker and Savitt started dating, every fiber of their being told them that they were made for each other. But there was a long family secret that they knew nothing of, and it was about to come to the surface. When Parker and Savitt finally got engaged, they decided to have a pre-wedding family dinner. But it was two particular family members that would end up revealing something about Savitt, and it was a truth that even he didn't know about himself. They picked their mother's favorite restaurant and made all the reservations, so there was nothing that could go wrong. They were sure of it, or so they thought. The truth about the couple's past came to light when their mothers, Fiona Savitt and Kay Parker, started chatting. The women began trading stories about their children, But then, Parker's mother said something about her own daughter that made Savitt's mother reminisce about a similar event in her son's life. Parker's mother told Savitt's mother how the entire family had gone to Turkey on vacation when she was a child. They sailed boats, which her daughter loved doing, and on that trip, she remembers her then 6-year-old daughter had met a boy that swept her off her feet. Her daughter and the boy held hands and spent lots of time together. But after the dinner was over, Parker's mother sensed there was something not quite right about her daughter's fiancé. The two mothers were delighted that their children had invited them to dinner, but the get-together had left Parker's mother troubled. She knew that the secret to a happy marriage involved total honesty, but she feared that there was something about her daughter and her fiancé that had been kept from them all these years. Parker's mother assumed that she would need some extra space to put up all the wedding supplies and presents, so she started clearing up space in the basement. But in the process, she stumbled onto something that brought her back to the story Savitt's mother had told her. Something about the story made Parker's mother uneasy. She tried putting it out of her head, but a few weeks later, she discovered a box full of photographs in the basement from that Turkish sailing trip from a long time ago, and it revealed something about Savitt that shook her to the core. Parker's mother found a photograph of her daughter with the boy she met in 1997 on their trip to Turkey. There was something about the boy's bowl-cut hair and smoldering gaze, and that's when it hit her. She suddenly realized who the boy was. As luck would have it, the Parkers and the Savitts had both gone on vacation to Turkey in the summer of 1997, and both families ended up in the Turkish city of Gumbet. Once Parker's mother figured out the identity of the boy, she contacted Savitt's mother to see if she knew who he was, and the reaction was staggering. Once she discovered more photos of her daughter and the mystery boy, she shared them with Savitt's mother, who shrieked when she realized the little boy was none other than her own son. Once Parker's mother reached out to her with the adorable news, Savitt's mother decided to look through her family albums of the trip. That's when she discovered several other photos of her son's first girlfriend. She just hoped that her son and future daughter-in-law would be just as excited as they were. Once the couple learned that they had met 18 years earlier on a family vacation, they knew that they were destined to live happily ever after. So, in 2017, they officially sealed the deal. But they couldn't help but wonder how they hadn't realized they had met before. This love story proves that soulmates are real. So, if you find your other half, never let them go. How did you meet your partner? Comment below. Thank you for watching this video.